The Ouija board is spelling F-U... Oh, wait. You have been warned. Content is explicit here at Bewitched Banter. Welcome. You are listening to Bewitched Banter. We're two best friends.
One skeptical, ahem, Amy.
And our resident believer, Krista.
Talk about the universe and all its divine powers.
Or what I would call bullshit thinking.
But really, we do talk about spooky, spiritual, and some wacky religions, cults, and the paranormal.
And I like to bring us back to this thing I call Earth and talk about how science debunks this.
Meanwhile, she went to another planet this weekend.
It was a good
Let's get spiritual
time.
through our podcast.
I'm not going to agree with that one, but what are we covering today? You're probably not really so certain, are you?
I'm not. I know you have something in store for me, and I'm very, very excited. But before we do...
Well, I want to tease it. So we are covering two men who use a Ouija board who were prisoners of war during the World War I as a tactic to escape. But for all you spiritual believers, you may be disappointed.
Oh, man. Don't tell me that. I was, like, really excited about this story.
I mean, it's going to be cool regardless.
But I wanted them to escape. All right,
I mean, they may. You don't know.
You better read my horoscope for today.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we're doing this cheesy stuff. Okay.
P.S. Today is September 11th. We'll go into it later if we want to, but just remembering everyone who lost a loved one and had incredibly close ties, and never forget, as they say. So just thinking about all my East Coast fam and people I knew today.
Okay. I'm going to bump it up a notch with happiness, and we're going to do a horoscope. Okay, you ready? So Krista's a Libra.
Mm-hmm.
There's a change happening in your daily life.
Mm-hmm.
Your routines and habits become more spiritual, more healthy.
Look what's to the right of me?
I'm not buying that because you've been talking about all your...
I've been eating bullshit. That is for damn sure.
More healing, more responsible, and more mature. You have a chance to improve your lifestyle now.
Yeah.
Okay, who is this sponsored by a gym?
I wish it was. Hashtag Orange Theory sponsor us.
Trying to get you to join. Do my 21 detox.
I do feel very responsible this weekend, I have to say. I'm very proud of myself. So that resonated.
Why do you feel responsible?
Because I wasn't a hot mess like I have been in the past when going out with girlfriends. So I don't know.
So you were like the good one?
Yeah, for once in for a very long time, if maybe not the first time ever.
Hey, Friday was fun though.
It was fun. All right, Amy's horoscope for 9/11/2022 is Gemini. You are asked to look at your ambitions and goals, to look at your dreams for the future, and to see what it is you really feel good about while doing it. Do you feel a sense of purpose in all the things you're already doing? And by the way,
but I think that's bullshit if you did.
Feel what? A sense of purpose in everything?
Yeah, you can't. There's certain things you have to do in life you have to do just to get by.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I mean, like, if I was saying, oh, that doesn't match my purpose, I wouldn't do half the things that, like, I have to do to be a responsible human being.
Doesn't align. Yeah.
I mean, that's like being a child. Like, I have to be an adult, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, I'm celebrating me being an adult for once.
I just feel like, I'd be like, if I told work that doesn't align with my purpose, they're not going to be like, okay, we'll keep paying you.
Are you sure you have a lot of granola folks? She works for an art school, so I'm just saying.
After a while, if I wasn't emailing people back, which I don't want to,
on.
I half the time doesn't align with my purpose. I need to start having that in my email. I want that in my email signature. May not reply. Wish. This does not align with my purpose.
Oh my God. And P.S. everyone, again, these horoscopes are not sponsored by yet, but read from the Moon Omens account on Instagram. So that's Moon Omens on Instagram. Thank you.
Sweet. Okay. So are you ready for this story?
Yes, I am ready for this story.
Sweet. Okay, so this story is going to be based off Margaret Fox's book. It's called The Confidence Men.
And this is not one of the Fox sisters, or is?
No, it's a separate lady.
Just happens to have the same name. So
Yes.
back in the day, y'all, again, episode recap. Number 1, Fox Sisters takes you back to spiritualism and Ouija and all this shit I'm into.
But so it's The Confidence Men. So if you like this story, I would definitely check out this book because it's going to be like just a highlight and a recap of the story.
Okay.
It's really cool though. As I said at the top of the episode, it's 2 British officers. They were prisoners of war and they escaped with like an unlikely tactic of using a Ouija board. Would it be Margalit or Margalit? It's spelled Margalit.
And I guess it depends if it's French or not. I don't know.
I'm going to say Margalit because I like that better.
Yeah, it sounds prettier.
Yeah.
I agree.
So she is the author, and when she was 60 years old, she somehow just stumbled across this story. She read last name is Jones. He had a war memoir. She read it. So she must have been like a big into like war stories. Which,
I mean, we kind of are getting there, and which I love because there's so much to unpack in war, and like it's
so messed up in so many levels.
Yeah, it's so tragic but so fascinating. One of those things that like human beings were just so attracted to tragedy for some reason.
Well, I think for the vast majority of us, we're like into it because it's like, whoa, I could never do that. Let me hear about this messed up shit someone else did.
Or that could never be me. Even though it's like half of us women that get assaulted.
Well, me and Corey, I think I might have mentioned this in the last episode. We were like talking about it's kind of weird how people like, I love war.
Yeah.
But then I was like, at the same time, there's people who love murder.
I mean, hello, that's me.
Yeah, and that's kind of bizarre. So it's all kind of bizarre.
It really is. I don't know what I literally like am annoyed at anything other than watching Dateline or anything on Oxygen Network or like 2020. It's so bad. I'm like, I have a problem for sure. Although I did start watching Schitt's Creek again. And
what does it do for you though?
I don't know. At this point, it's an addiction. I can't even explain it. It's so bad.
But it has to satisfy something in your...
I think it used to be like a tie back to like my mom and I, because we did used to watch it together growing up, as fucked up as that is. So it's like that kind of memory of like something we shared in common. Like probably the only thing.
I think this is why you're always scared of everything.
Oh, because I'm addicted to true crime.
Yeah, it's like whenever I'm like, oh, let's go do shrooms in the woods.
Absolutely
you're
not.
like, no.
I mean, I just not in the woods. I need a more controlled environment. I'm Bougetto, as we know, and like
the woods. But that like when you're around no one else, don't you think you feel safer there than inside? Like you don't know who your crazy Bob neighbor is.
I don't know who the fuck's outside. There could be some random person in a shed or something that escaped prison, and like
there could be someone watching you from your home.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not about that life, but
jump over the canal. So she lives like her parents live right by the canal.
That's true. There are a lot of psycho people.
Home.
They do. Anyway, I don't know. I'm a weirdo, but I think so. There's that tie to me and my mom, and then also like I think Karen and Georgia talk about this a lot of just like feeling more empowered to know that could happen instead of being naive to it. But now, to your point, I'm too obsessed with it, and I overcorrect that for sure.
Yeah. I feel like I've taken a break. I like it.
You've been off for like a good 2 years, I feel like.
I like it. I'm
proud of you. I'm deep in it, man. I'm deep in.
Like watching TV lately, I've noticed I've been gravitating towards like me and Corey when we sit down. I'm like, I want to watch something more lighthearted.
Yeah.
And just like all this dark shit starts to get to you. If that's like all you consume after a while, it really starts to get to you.
It does. And I'll say like, again, now that I've been finally watching Schitt's Creek again, I'm like, I do feel lighter and I feel like I'm just laughing and it's just so healing to laugh. So it's my goal to not watch so much of this dark shit because it's bad.
It's coming off air October 7th, by the way.
I know. You were mentioning that. Why?
I don't know. It just kept popping up when I was watching it.
I'll have to go read into that because I'm probably licensing and shit with Canada, but that sucks.
I know. I do like it to watch it like mindlessly sometimes. It's kind of fun.
David.
Ew, David.
Oh my God, ew, David. Ew. Last night was the Fold in the Cheese episode. I was fucking dying.
Oh, yeah. How do you fold it in?
I don't know, David. You folded in.
I'm talking about dark stuff. So this lady, she was an obituary writer for the New York Times.
Oh, yeah. That would be a really tough job.
I don't know. I think you would get really desensitized to it quickly.
They do. I know a lot of reporters that
Is it actually dark? Like, do you, as an obituary writer, do you actually have to call up the family and talk to them, or they just send it in?
Most of the time nowadays they send it in, but I think back in the day it was a little bit more personal. But in a city like New York, as large as it has been for centuries, it probably was a lot less personal than a small town paper.
I feel like you probably don't even care. Like, you're like, wow, this person wrote this about their obituary, and like making jokes about it.
Oh, God. What the fuck are you? Oh, my God.
I worked in education and...
Touche. She's been desensitized to the worst, y'all.
I've worked in some dark situations, and that's the only way you can handle it, unless you want to lose your mind.
That's fucking true. I forget about your teacher trauma. That's a whole nother
thing. Well, not even that. When I worked at the for-profit university, that was really bad. Mm-hmm. Like, terrible. I remember one day I was like, if I pick up the phone and call one more person, they're going to die. Because everyone had tragic stories.
Oh, my God. Yeah, like get shootings, right? And like...
Or someone had died. Lady called me and she wanted to commit suicide, so I had to call the police to go sit with her. Stuff like that.
That's insane. You've been through some career trauma.
That's what I'm saying. The only way you are okay with this, you like, I can never say that word, compartmentalize it.
Yeah, you said it right.
Or you have dark humor. I don't know. One of the two.
Which you Brits do. And also, she doesn't give a shit about the Queen. Anyone that's English listening, just saying the Queen passed and she died.
Do most people?
Apparently American media does. We were talking about this the other day.
Well, because it's like a sensational thing to talk about.
It's like all my colleagues and I were just looking at each other laughing like, this is like, who gives a fuck? Now it's on to Charles with another wanka. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Well, I understand, like, she probably, she's old. She was a different generation. She lived, like, she was, like, they were, like, forced into being royal.
That's true.
But then she's racist. And then
that's where I'm like,
all the colonialism, how do you say it?
Colonialism.
Yes.
I follow.
That, and the way she treats Diana. So, I don't know. There's
Meghan being black.
Like
I can't.
Harry, yeah.
I can't.
Which Prince Harry was definitely on my phone growing up, on my speed dial. I cut out of him.
Yes.
But part of me thinks like, yes, it's probably because of her age, B, her environment.
Maybe.
But I don't know if we should excuse people.
Yeah.
It's probably not okay.
No, I don't know. All I know, she did. And I was like, Amy, your parents are in England right now. And they're like, yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I was like, they don't give a shit. No one gives a shit. Well, people don't understand that English people don't really like the monarchy. Because they're just looking at people who like are taking their tax dollars, which I understand why they keep them. They keep them because for tourism.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Probably
because they bring so much money to the country because so many people go there for that reason. Mm-hmm. And it's like such a fascination for a lot of people. But most English people don't really like the royalty.
Right. Because it's all...
Well, it's like a class thing, too.
That and like just a facade, show. All right, sorry. Back to other dark war tactics. She
basically loved the shit out of this story, and she was like, I can't believe that, no one's really taken, like, so it's just his, like, personal memoir, right? Mm-hmm. Like, no one's taking the time to write about this, and it happened over 100 years, and she's like, this is just such a crazy... fascinating story. Sounds like a movie, right?
Yeah, a little nugget of history.
Yeah, and she's like, how has everyone like just glanced over this and just didn't take the time to like honor this story and do something with it and bring attention to it? She really started out her research by finding out, and we've talked about this, I feel like it's kind of a trending theme in a lot of our episodes, but how spiritualism gripped the country and the world really at the early 19th and 20th century. Mm-hmm. So this story is really, it comes down to perfect timing. Like, okay, what they were doing, the story, when we get into it, it would not fly today.
Interesting.
It probably wouldn't have flied like 50 years prior. It's because it's that fascination that people had with like speaking to the dead. Because everyone at that point of time was very into it. Mm-hmm. So like people, if it, like, it's just like, perfect timing of how everything aligned.
Yeah, well, because I remember covering it of like it was a thing. Well, it was a great women's empowerment movement, but also because we were typically the seers, right, the mediums, but also because because of said tragic war, we needed some type of explanation for the tragedy, and talking to your loved ones gone certainly helps with grieving for some of us.
That was a lot of it. Throwing it back, listen to the Ouija board history episode, because I go into it a lot more there, and it's super fascinating. Like how the board came, and it really focuses on, but it's basically like the Civil War was ending, and a lot of people, I can't remember the statistic, but it was a high number of people had like brothers or dads they lost, and people were just like sad, and they wanted a way to talk to the people. And I mean, I feel like people are today. I mean, I guess everyone's sad, but
I mean, we're just still unpacking COVID traumas. But like, yeah, it's like back then it was different. Like war here is distant now, right? It's digital. It's through a screen. We don't see it. We don't feel it. We don't taste it. I don't know.
Well, it doesn't impact us,
right? And back then it was like your life. So
well, even the war with Russia and Ukraine, I know it's happening, but it's like almost like it's been forgotten because it was just so far away. We were like so distant.
We have the luxury of distance. You're right.
And
absolutely
being removed from it.
Yep. Exactly.
But this story centers around two men, Elias Jones and Cedric Hill. I love this. They basically said the whole reason they were able to survive being prisoners of war is because of their friendship.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
The whole reason they were able to walk away alive.
Little Shawshanky.
Yeah. They were kind of two people who were matched. You would never put them two and two together to be friends.
Aww.
And probably if it wasn't for the situation they were in, never would have crossed paths or associated with each other. Because like Elias, he was a son of a lord. He attended Oxford, which you know
Oxford.
Very fancy. Put your pinky out while you drink your tea.
Like literally parts of the dictionary, even in the US.
He was studying to be a lawyer. And then we had Cedric, who was a mechanic, I guess an amateur magician, and he grew up on an Australian farm.
Okay.
So like very polar opposites of each other. And this all takes place during World War I, which I asked you the other day.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know shit about fuck Marty on that one.
I asked you, I was like, do you know what happened during World War I? And your response was?
Literally no clue. Or something to that effect.
Same. And I tried to, honestly, people, if you're hoping to know, or you already know, A, you could be like, you're dumb as shit, you don't know. B, I'm not going to explain it. Because I looked into it and my eyes glazed over and I was like, another day, another time.
Isn't it like World War II, question mark? That's all I can say with eyebrow raised and hands cockeyed.
I don't remember. I know we talked about it, but I don't really remember anything about it.
Same. That's all. World War II was hammered up into our little brains. Let me tell you what. They showed us the horrible video. I don't know if...
Was it because it didn't impact America? We didn't learn much about it?
Probably. That's called erasure. Yay.
That's what I'm assuming.
I'm guaranteed.
I tried to look into it and I was like, maybe another episode.
Sorry, quick side note. Do they teach you about American history in British schools, or are they like resentful because we won and they're like, fuck that? Do it on your own.
No, they're not resentful. My mom said, obviously, she was like, she hated history growing up. She was like, it was all remembering dates of the kings and the queens.
Oh, God.
But I wonder, that was her take of it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just curious because every other part of the world seems to know so much about America, and we know nothing about our own, outside of our own bodies, and it's really gross. So I'm like, why can't we...
Well, until recently, we've kind of been like the, how do I want to say it?
America,
like,
world power.
No, like leaders of the world, but I feel like America is like crumbling before our eyes. So I saw life expectancy. We're no longer in the top 50 of the world.
Who is? India?
No, we were in the ranked top 50 countries, but now we're not because our healthcare system's so messed up.
Oh, yeah. Well, no surprise there.
Yeah. But I just feel like all this stuff is like, we're being treated like crap, and eventually there is...
We're part of the fall of the American Empire. Yay!
I know. Yeah, basically that's what I'm saying.
Anyway, great. Happy 9/11, everyone. Speaking of crumbling things. Oh my God.
But anyway, long story short, I'm not going to tell you about World War I. Watch a YouTube video if you want to learn about it. Not here.
Said the two ignorant Americans.
Yeah. Elias, he was captured. So now I'm going to go back to the two men, right? Okay. So Elias was captured after spending 5 months in Kut. It's a war zone. Well, it was a war zone. And it's a city in Iraq. Okay.
Okay.
And he was forced to march 2,000 miles to the prisoner of war camp in Yozgad, which is a city in Turkey.
Okay.
From what I gathered, I think World War I was like the fight of the East and the West.
Okay.
Like Turkey, I don't know. I'm not going to say much more.
I'm like, I sure. Sounds great, Ames. Nailed it.
And then
that's how much I know. Got it.
And then this is where he met Cedric. And Cedric had joined the Royal Flying Corporations, which was based in Kantara, Egypt. And he was caught after his plane was shot down by the Ottoman forces.
Damn.
So the Ottoman was an empire that was ruled by most of the Southeast Europe, Western Asia, and Northern Africa.
Okay.
And the Ottoman army was made up of Anatolian Turks, Arabs, Armenians, Kurds, and Syrians. They were the Ottoman Empire's army. And I think this is where they were fighting with Germany, too. And, they were basically fighting with the British over territory.
I need
and they
a
said
map.
during the
I need a good, like in you never watch Game of Thrones because she doesn't watch anything fucking pop culture except for Selling Sunset with Me.
Hey, I watch a lot of pop culture stuff.
Kardashians, but oh my God, just I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I can't talk about World War I.
But yeah, so I think it's the Ottoman Empire and the British fighting. I like how I'm trying to like tell a story. And I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm just like, again, great. Nailed it.
Yeah, you do not come here for experts.
Not for history expertise anyway.
At the time, they said there were 781,000 soldiers that died.
Which is a fuck ton.
And the army was
right?
made up of 1,250,000 soldiers. So that's
which is like the whole world population probably.
Yeah, so a
right?
lot.
Back then, right?
Yeah, we're going to move on, though. Because
let's keep going. Because I don't know. I don't even know what era World War I was in. Okay? Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
We don't know shit about fuck. That's what we're trying to tell you. And we got to move on. Because we're just going to keep digging.
Just keep going.
We're just keep digging ourselves a hole.
I don't know what's happening, though.
These idiots.
Okay, we have Clayton and we have...
Not Clayton. We have Cedric and Elias.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Cedric and Elias. Thank you.
So they're at the prison camp, and it's called Yozgad. The prison camp, so... You would normally imagine like they're keeping the prisoners in because there could be like a big fence or a wall. Build that wall.
Oh, God.
But they didn't even have to have any fence, any kind of barbed wire, anything to keep them in because the thing that...
Psychological warfare.
No, it was more that they were in the middle of nowhere. So if you escaped... Good luck going somewhere. Because
you'll get shot or reported or die of the elements or animals.
It's just you're like in the middle of nowhere. And where would you go?
So like Siberia?
Well, it's in Turkey. So it's 100.
Isn't that near Russia? Question mark. I don't know what's talking about it. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the same globe.
Next time.
It's on the same planet. Good job. But it's 150 miles south of the Black Sea and 300 miles north of the Mediterranean, okay? So they are
I'm picturing Mediterranean. Thank you for context.
They're in BFE, in the middle of bumfuck Egypt.
Okay.
Not really. They're in Turkey. BFT.
BFT. Now I want a BLT. Maybe, are we going to be bad or are we going to be good for dinner tonight?
Oh, God.
I do have HelloFresh meals to cook, but I'm frankly not.
Now you're tempting me.
I did pass Jersey Mike's today. Just saying.
Should we be good? That is the question that every day is a battle. I know that world war in my stomach.
Which food always wins?
Yes,
Excuse me, bad food. The evil food always wins.
So good, though.
Oh, fucking A.
Okay, so
I want pretzels and cheese dip. Okay.
I'm hungry now.
Sorry.
But there's nowhere to go. They couldn't get to. It would take them 5 days to get to a train station, and which would basically be impossible because even if they could make the 5-day trek, They're going to have to go through the desert. They're going to have to go through mountains. Like, conditions no one's going to survive in.
They need to look presentable. Otherwise, they're going to be reported. Yeah, there's a lot of logistics. And they'll probably die regardless, even if they get there.
Well, and even if they were able to, there's going to be gangs of people in the countryside who are heavily armed looking for these people.
Right.
So you basically didn't stand a chance in hell to get out.
Okay. So they stayed.
There
was like, enough cognitive, or what's the word? Not cognitive dissonance. There was enough reinforcements that they're like, nah, I'm cool.
And
living in this hell is better than living in the escaped hell.
Elias and Cedric, they are staying in an old abandoned house with several other families. Prisoners, right? Okay. So they're like in his old house. And the creepy thing is that the family, this area was taken over by the Ottoman Empire. And the family that lived in this house was murdered. And that's how they had... Ooh. This is how they had the house, like, to themselves to keep the prisoners there.
As fuck.
And they were able to find a packing crate. And they made a makeshift Ouija board. And the planchette, which we talked about, is the little piece you move between. I didn't know that until I did the Ouija board episode.
Yeah, the triangular plastic thing with the magnifying glass on it.
Yes. So they used an old jar... And then they used an abandoned sheet of wood they found. So it's totally makeshift. They just totally made it up.
But that's cool. I like the ingenuity, y'all. Entrepreneurial spirit in prison. Hustler spirit.
Well, and it came from boredom because they played like chess, poker, roulette. And then at a certain point, they were just so bored. They're like, what else can we do? Like,
I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
Elias got a postcard from his aunt who lived in England. And she was talking about the Ouija board. It was like, oh my God, it's all the rage. People love it. Everyone's buying this game. You got to try it. And that's where he also found an abandoned door from the house and made it into a Ouija board somehow. So this guy's crafty.
Yeah, no shit.
He's really good with his hands. That sounds dirty.
Like
someone, yeah.
Hi.
Good with his hands.
Ooh. I'll take a wooden something or other.
So Elias and Cedric and several other prisoners would spend hours and hours and hours talking to
carving wood
to the Ouija board with their hands. And other officers would even join them, like the ones who were keeping him in prison. They kept finding the Ouija board would never talk back to him. A lot of it came out of like, imagine being in jail and the only people you have to talk to are these few individuals, right? Like, let's say you're in prison with like 3 other people. After a while, you're like, I've talked to you about everything there is to talk about. Yeah. And we experience everything together. It's like, so it was like almost out of desperation. They're like, we just want to talk to someone. Yeah. Like, is there like a spirit we can talk to? Anyone?
Somebody else besides these motherfuckers.
But all the other prisoners, except Cedric and Elias, after a while, are like, this is boring.
Okay.
Because they would sit there for hours. And imagine if you're just like sitting there moving the cup. You're like, okay, guys, nothing's happening. I give up. But they kept going for it. And then so one night they were there and they just would not give up. All of a sudden the Ouija jar moves and it goes to SALLY.
Sally.
And they were excited because it's a female.
Sally, ride that dick on wood.
They were horny. And they were like, oh my God,
Sally wants it.
Sally is talking to me.
Sally gonna put the ectoplasm all over it. Which is ghost matter, P.S. For you skeptics out there like Amy.
And so all the other probably men who are thirsty too were like, oh my God, Sally, a woman, is talking to us. Like, this is so exciting. Finally.
A lady.
There's like a lady in the house. She wants to talk to us. So all the other prisoners were all like into it. They were like, oh my God, on board. We got to go to the Ouija board every night. And
now they're on board.
But
tell her the pussy. Just saying.
So do you think Sally was really talking to them?
At this point, no. I think again they were Soup's horn dog, and we're like, let's imagine a beautiful woman named Sally that we can fantasize about.
Okay, so Cedric's the real horn dog.
Cedric, hey, what's up, Ced?
So Ced is the one.
I get you. You're my spirit animal, Cedric. What's up?
But Cedric actually is the one who is pushing the glass, but he's not telling anyone this. So he has all the prisoners like tricked, thinking that Sally's talking to them. And there's a quote from him. He said, "If I could do to the Turks what I had succeeded in doing to my fellow prisoners," the Turks are the ones keeping in prison.
Yeah.
"If I could make them believers, there was no saying what influence I might not be able to exert over them. It might even open the door to freedom."
Ooh.
It took them over a year after...
Horn dog and a hustler. I kind of think I found my new husband.
A horn dog and a hustler. Too bad he's dead.
Oh, fuck.
Unless you're into that.
Nope. Hard pass.
That's a topic we should
Necrophilia.
cover.
Oh, God. We should, but yes, we should. We're going to go. We've been into some dark places on Bewitched Banter, but necrophilia is one that I got to prepare for, but I'll do it.
I would 100% do it because it'd be fascinating.
Why are you such a freak?
Oh, you call me the freak and
you're the
You're the murder lover here.
I know. We're both fucked up in different ways, I suppose.
Anyway, I think it'd be fascinating and disgusting.
Yeah, agreed. But, hey, maybe a Halloween necro something. Anyway.
I think that would be a good episode. I think people would be into it.
Yeah?
Secretly.
I agree.
Maybe we'll get some necrophiliacs as our followers.
But then they'll want to murder us. Moving on to my new husband, Cedric.
But it took Elias and Cedric a year to come up with a plan on how they were going to use the Ouija board to basically as like a mind trick, a mind fuck on the Turks. Because they're like, well, we got everyone in this house believing it. Look at what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, and power of manipulation is strong.
And this is, as I said in the beginning, the rage of like everyone... Spiritualism's taking over. It's like the cool thing to do. You got to talk to the dead.
Mm-hmm. It's cool. I missed my calling.
It's part of it's like pop culture. It's like
I was born too late, guys.
You were.
But what? 200 years? 300 years? I don't know. Too late.
There were skeptics in the house. There was certain people who were like, "This is bullshit. This is so stupid." Like myself, right? Cedric, those people, he kept telling them, he's like, "Okay, I know you think this is stupid, but think about it. 5 years ago, if I told you that a telegraph was a thing or flying a plane was a thing, you would have never believed any of those things were real. So why can't you believe this is real?"
Classic manipulator's playbook.
But he kind of like kept saying that. It kind of got them all to fold. This is a long plan. This wasn't like, oh, let's do this a month later, get out. This was like a 2-year plan to get the hell out.
Right.
So a year later, a man named Pimple, which I have no idea why he's called that.
Ew, I can't.
Yeah, just imagine this really disgusting man.
Ew.
And his name is Moise Escante, if I'm saying that right. He was a young Ottoman soldier, and he was often the translator between the prisoners of war and then the soldiers.
Okay.
And he whispered to Cedric one night, he's like, "Could you find me a treasure?" Like, he didn't want the other soldiers hearing him because he would be embarrassed. Oh. Cedric replied, he's like, "Well, it kind of depends, like, who buried it? Is the person still alive or dead? Because we can only talk to the dead through this talking board."
Mm-hmm. What exactly are you looking for? If I can conjure it up somehow in this piece of shit prison.
Yeah. He asked Pimple, he's like,
I still can't. Can we just call him, what was his name? Elijah? No. Moises.
It's gonna be Pimple.
It was Moises.
I like Pimple.
Because all I can picture is a gross ass white head.
Yeah, well, that's probably what he looked like.
Ew.
He was like, "Do you want me to find the Armenian treasure?" And Pimple replied, "You know about it?" And Cedric was like, "Yeah, I got like connections with the dead." Yo. And this is where he's like, "My dead player told me."
My dead homeboy in the corner of 156 in Park told me about this buried treasure.
Yeah. My dead friend told me
I got
there's treasure back there.
Like my homie, like, what's his name? My homie Pimple, like, he knows shit is about to pop off.
But this, yeah.
He's about to pop
yeah. But this is the moment like a light went off in his head and he's like, this is the way we're going to get out, right? So like he knew it could have been a tactic, but this is the moment like the light bulb, Oprah would say, aha moment. Mm-hmm. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And he knew at that moment, he's like, I have to come up with a story and it's going to be to trick the Turks And it's going to be a story that's going to be, it's the long game. I'm not in for this for the short haul. I'm going to have to play this out all the way.
Okay.
And he's going to have to plan every detail.
How many years we talking? You know what I mean? Like, is it worth the long game?
It is.
All right.
And he knew he had to plan out every detail, every little move. But he couldn't do this by himself. He's like, okay, I got to find someone else who will do this with me because there's no way I could carry this out by myself.
Okay.
And that's when Cedric was like, I need to talk to Elias. And he chose him because he knew Elias was so good with his hands from late night.
Speaking of Schitt's Creek, I'm picturing Mutt from Schitt's Creek.
What, who?
Alexis's first boyfriend.
Oh, he was hot. Yes.
Over me right now.
Okay, girl.
Oh,
you need to get some.
It's been almost a month. Has it been a month?
I don't know.
It's time.
I haven't been counting for you.
Fellas on Bumble, what's up? Call for open auditions.
So he's not only good with his hand, he knew how to navigate his way around anywhere. He could drive a railway engine. He could drive a plane. And so he knew Elias.
Oh my God. And he could fly a plane. Dude. I can't.
So
okay.
Cedric is thirsty for Elias, and Krista is too. And this is when they come up with the elaborate tale of non-existent ghosts who's going to spill the tea about the whereabouts of a non-existent treasure.
Cool.
Pimple and another...
I'm not getting over it.
Yeah. Pimple and another Turkish commander started visiting Cedric and Jones at night, and it was like to use the Ouija board. And Cedric and Jones, this is where they tricked them that a ghost, not Sally, but named Spook, was speaking to them. Spook, the ghost, or the spirit, who's made up, told Pimple and his friend, like, hey, the treasure is hidden by the Mediterranean coast. The reason why
so
do
like
you think,
Morocco, the Moors, Africa.
But why do you think they're telling him that?
Well, to to take them out of this bullshit prison and with him to find it. Yeah,
basically. They wanted to get to Cyprus because if they could get close enough there, they thought they could turn the two men over to their allies, and that'd be their escape plan.
Okay.
And it's a longstanding rumor in Yozgad, which is like the war or the prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
That a wealthy local Armenian who had anticipated the mass killings of hundreds of thousands Armenians by the Ottoman Turks. So that's when the genocide happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of really sad shit that happened to the Armenian people.
Yeah, and it happened around 1915, 1960. But the guy knew it was coming, so he had decided to bury his treasure. And there was a rumor at the war camp that it was in that whereabouts. So it wasn't like a rumor they made up. It was already a standing rumor. And
okay.
We might as well use...
little nugget of truth to create the big lie. Yeah. Makes sense. That's strategic.
The plan did not work out, unfortunately. Jones was very convincing, though. He had photographic memory. The reason why he was able to convince these people is because he could look down at the board because they would jumble the letters.
Wait,
right?
Which one's Jones?
Jones is Cedric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I went back from first and last name.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
so
what?
Cedric had photographic memory. And so what he would do to convince these people is that he would jumble the letters and not keep them in the order.
Oh.
And he'd be blindfolded. And then he'd use the planchette and move it to spell out words. And they're like, no way could he spell out words, but his memory was that good. Like, not an average person could do that, right?
No, I told you about many times how freaking Sharmetta kicked my ass at memory in first grade and kindergarten. What up, Sharmetta? You probably don't listen anymore, or ever. But, like, she would always, I will never forget, like, kick my ass and just be laughing at it. And I was like, I don't get it. And as we've discussed, my memory is a point of contention in my personal growth of, like, getting over it and confidence. But, like, yeah. So let alone average person can't, no. That's really impressive. Then mix it up to know exactly which letter you place where. That's some very, what do you call it? Nostradamus type shit.
That's why I was like, I could see how it could be convincing. Mm-hmm. Because I could never. But they were like, and they would put like cryptic clues. So they would have like, tell them where your treasure was buried on the like the camp. And then the two soldiers would go out and start digging for it. But everything worked out until the night before they were set out for Cyprus. So they were all set. Like they were bought in. They were going to go. And that's when someone came forward and betrayed them and basically ratted.
We got a rat.
Yep, someone ratted them out. It was like, they're playing a game on you.
You little snitches get stitches, bitches.
So they decided they were going to have to go with option B now, which is the nuclear option of being committed to a mental hospital. Basically had to act like they were batshit crazy. They're like, we're going to have to be, like, just act like we're insane. Because the Cyprus thing fell through, and they're like, we were so close, but now we can't get out. They had to convince psychiatrists that they were mentally unfit, so they would send them back to England.
So my dad did that to get out of Vietnam. I think I've shared that before.
Yeah, that's crazy. But, I mean, kind of smart.
Also, thanks, Dad, because I probably wouldn't be here without if that.
I mean, I don't blame him.
Anyway, that's nuts.
And there was a British doctor that was living in the house. They confided in him, and the British doctor basically was like, you need to do this and this and this to be batshit crazy. I mean, if we were there, we could tell them to.
I mean, they would just look at us and be like, bye, bitches.
Yeah, I can act like them.
Mental asylum. See y'all locked up. Lock her up. What's up?
And then they were like, okay, so how do we get everyone's attention and how do we convince them we're crazy? And that's when they decided to hang themselves in front of everyone and pretend to kill themselves.
They must be really strong.
I don't know how they did that.
I'm just imagining they're like strong upper body. To, like,
yeah, you're just thirsty.
I am so thirsty. And I had a missed connections this weekend.
Missed connection? What happened?
Have you've heard of missed connections, right? On Craigslist?
No. Oh, yes. My roommate, when I lived in Columbus, swears that some girl posted about him on there.
That's kind of sweet. Yeah, I met a really handsome fella who was tall and talkative. Yeah, but he walked away because I was taking care of this one in front of me instead. But I guess it's karma. So, yeah, anyway, there might be a tie. I might be able to find you. So we'll see.
There'll be other men in the sea.
Yeah, there are, but I'm just thirsty, y'all, and he was a good candidate.
So after they decided to like publicly hang themselves, they decided to go to Hadar Pasha Hospital in Constantinople. Or they didn't decide, they were sent. Sorry. I wasn't like, oh, let's get in the car.
Check us in, luxury
resort. No.
All inclusive.
And they had to stay in a mental hospital for 6 months.
Did they get shock therapy?
No, but and I thought this was really fascinating. So they were doing such a good job of acting insane because they wanted to be believable. At certain points, they started to question if they were becoming insane
themselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm sure you had to really play the part.
Mm-hmm. Method acting at its finest.
I imagine acting insane would start to make you feel insane. Mm-hmm. They did this for 6 months, which I was like, holy shit, that's a long time to keep up an act.
I wonder if they had like a code word of like, yo, code red, I'm insane, dude, this is our sign, let's go. Like, pull the cord. Let's go.
Yeah, and basically after 6 months of acting batshit crazy, they were finally certified as being insane and they were sent home on a British hospital ship. This is the part that gets me. So they did all this. They were in a mental hospital for 6 months. They went did the Ouija board. Around the same time as they get back to England, the war is announced it's over. Can you imagine, though, how mad you would be? But they said that still, even though they went through all that hardship and like heartache, it might have been the thing that saved their lives because the Spanish flu pandemic was like killed so many people at that prison. So they might have avoided that.
Which has been compared to COVID, which actually started apparently in Kentucky.
No, Kansas.
Kansas, you're right. Yeah, and it was a K-state. Not anywhere in Europe, which is so fucking bizarre. I can't, again, history. Not my forte.
Yeah. But can you imagine doing all that and you find out you're like, shit, we didn't have to do all that? Like,
no, I would be like, I'd actually might hate myself.
Yeah, I feel like that time I'd be like, yeah, maybe
but I might.
I think at that point I'm like, well, the world hates me.
I can honor a commitment though. You know what I mean? I give, commitment.
And then this is a quote I'm going to leave it with. So their friendship is what helped them through this. And Cedric wrote this. For a brief time, or a brief period, recalling his time in the insane asylum, Elias was put in the bed next to mine. It seems a little thing that we should lie there 3 feet apart instead of 10, but it meant that much. We did not attempt to talk. We were too closely watched for that. But at night, under covers of darkness, sometimes he and sometimes I would stretch out an arm and for a brief moment grip the other person's hand. The firm, strong pressure of my comrade's fingers used to put everything right.
Oh, were they lovers too?
No, just friends. Like, they had imagine that's the one person who's in it on your secret.
Oh.
And they were being watched 24/7, so they couldn't like go back to their jail cell or hospital and talk like they were normal. That to me is the biggest mind trip, like trying to act like you're insane for 6 months. And then not like getting an hour off to act like you're not.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would be so mentally
in it. Yeah. I mean, I'm already insane, so what's up? It's a miracle I'm free.
That is my story of paranormal. And also kind of going back to your story, psychological, like war tactics.
1,000%.
To be a survivor and survive all this crazy shit.
Crazy traumas. And the way in which we can use psychology to... It's just crazy. It's so... Everything revolves around that. It's all fucked up, but... fascinating at the same time.
Yep, so that is my story.
Good job. I was so hoping that they actually conjured somebody or something. That I was like, well, of course they didn't. But like, that was my hope.
Well, I only read the headline and I picked this story, so I had no idea where it was going to take me.
That was really cool. It was a wild ride through Turkey and England, and where else did we go? We went in a lot of places.
Well, I mean, basically we told you a story, but we don't know shit about fuck. That's what happened.
I mean, not about World War One, for sure.
Yeah, so if you're from another country and you're listening, this is American education at its finest.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, teachers. No, just kidding. Amy was literally, again, teacher trauma survivor. Thank you very much.
No, it wasn't all bad. Just not for me.
So, yeah, again, fascinating story. It is 9/11 today, so just one more respect to everybody out there. And hope everyone's healing from that trauma, speaking of. So,
what's even more mind-blowing, that was 20 years ago.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
All right, let's do it. Where were you? Where were you when, and why does it matter?
I was in the middle of ISTEP, which is like a state standardized testing, and I was actually wearing a shirt with the Twin Towers on it. Because I just went to...
Oh, I got goosebumps on that.
Yes, I just went to New York City a month ago, and to that day, we had went up to the top. And I wore... that shirt that day.
My whole body, you guys, is covered. Look, I look like a chicken.
Yeah, so I wore that shirt that day it happened. Isn't that insane? And I remember we were in the middle of a test, and all of a sudden, like, the teachers were walking, like, because it was like, you can't talk. You know how strict they are about state standardized testing.
Yeah.
And the teachers, like, multiple teachers came in and were whispering, and I thought there was a school shooting at first. Because there's like something, because I think that was close to the time. Is that close to when Columbine happened?
It was. So I was in 5th grade-ish when Columbine happened, and then a freshman in high school. So like 5 or so years after.
Okay. But I guess obviously there's enough for me to
enough trauma.
Think that.
No shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking that, and then I remember they announced it, and we stopped doing our testing, and like it's all. Probably because the teacher selfishly wanted to watch it, but that's all we did all day.
You actually got to watch. See, this is where I get so annoyed. Like, I too was in school, freshman assembly at like 8:30, 9 o'clock when the impact actually live happened, and it was like a no drugs assembly bullshit, right? Or something like that. And or like don't drink and drive. Here I am with my mimosa. But like, and then the principal like does a pump on the mic in the middle of this presenter, and was like, "There's been an accident in New York City."
An accident?
That's all he said. There's been an accident with the World Trade Center. And then, so I'm thinking like, whatever, going through classes. It's not until about 10:30, 11 that morning, well after all the shit has fallen to the ground and even the Pentagon was being attacked, that me and the school was canceled. Everything was canceled. Because you can imagine, we only lived an hour and a half from Manhattan. And so many parents, many connections that were involved. And anyway, then me and my Allie went back to her house and watched it together on all the news coverage. And we just had no context, I don't think, of how it shaped the rest of our lives.
Well, we were so young too. I just remember, like, the rest of the day, like, teachers weren't teaching; they just put it on. Like, I think being in a small town, Indiana, we're kind of like, oh, crazy, but we were like all just chatting, and I think the teacher was really. We were watching it, but not like the teacher who's like so glued in,
right?
Because I think when you're like, we were in 8th grade, I feel like that stuff doesn't really resonate with you the way it does when you're older. I guess like we were watching, but not watching it as much. But yeah, that was like the rest of our day.
It's crazy. Yeah, we got home, sent home pretty much immediately after we knew it was a terrorist attack. And fuck, man, it was just crazy. Like, just the proximity, I think, alone always fucks with me. Like, you know? But I forget, because of that said proximity, that it impacted the whole world, not just the tri-state area. And so I just want to just do our due diligence and remember and commemorate all the tragic lives lost for no reason other than just fucking religion, misunderstanding, and cultural bullshit. So stupid. Fucking wars.
Yeah. I mean,
wars. But okay, all right, now we need one positive. Sorry. I went down a dark hole just because of 9/11, but in sincerity, I want to honor those folks that are directly impacted, and all those that lost their lives. But because that's so horrific, I also want to end on a positive note. So, do you have anything positive to share with me?
I'm going to Pine Top this weekend.
Ooh.
Going camping with Corey. That'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be so nice.
Yes.
I feel like you guys haven't been camping in a while.
I know we haven't, because we've been like busy doing big trips.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't wait. I just want to get out of nature and just unplug.
Yeah.
I need
really
it.
Nice.
Yeah, just like, and I just want cooler weather, unplug, just have a weekend off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Me?
I don't think I'll signal the site, so I'm excited about that too.
Oh, there you go. Just have a backup plan. Give me the fucking coordinates before you go. And
I mean, I can drive if I need to for signal.
Regardless, give me the coordinates before you go because of all my true crime-ness. But it's aligned with the show. I'm doing this cool ritual this evening, and I'm hoping to really start the moving on journey, like, with this and setting some intentions to do so for real and like really get on with my life. So really excited about that.
Cool. Well, should we say that's a wrap?
Yeah. Peace be witches.
Peace. Thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram or bewitchedbanter.com. Suggestions for the show? Emails at bewitchedbanter@gmail.com. Credits: Music Phantom Fun by Jonathan Boyle from premiumbeat.com. Podcast edited and produced by Kristen Hins and Amy Holt. As always, if you enjoyed, please rate, review, and subscribe.